Hello, all, and welcome. Coaching for Transformation is back with another episode. I am Dario Minaya, and I'm here with Susan Minaya, Executive Coach, Leadership Strategist, and Learning and Development Expert. In our last episode, we talked about the new influence role of the learning and development leader and why AI adoption is not only a technology rollout, it is also a human capability challenge. So today, I want to pick up on something we touched on there. This episode focuses on there being so much change around AI that it can feel as though L&D needs an entirely new playbook. So does it? Stay tuned to learn more. Hello, Susan. Welcome back.
Hi, Dario. Good to be back.
All right. Well, let's dive into episode 2 of this little mini-series here.
Yes.
Let's start off with what I asked in the beginning, right? There is so much change around AI that it can feel as though L&D needs an entirely new playbook, but, does it really?
Well, not entirely, Dario. AI is changing the tools, pace, and in some cases, the work itself. Learning leaders absolutely need to understand what those changes are, but the core work of a strong performance strategist has not changed. We still need to understand the business problem. We still need to study the work, and we have to listen to employees and other people, managers, leaders in the organization to understand what's getting in the way of performance and determine what people really need to do differently with AI. So AI is essentially, Dario, pressure testing learning and development as a strategic performance function. But the answer really for us, the good news is it's already in our learning practice. So as I was preparing for this session, it dawned on me that it was like, you know what? AI is changing everything, but our role as learning and development leaders doesn't really change. We have what we need to do a good job.
That's a bit of a relief, right? So the challenge is not necessarily that learning leaders do not know what to do.
No, it's not. And many experienced learning leaders already know how to do this. Those that are effective. So those that have a performance consultative lens on the work that they do. And the challenge is whether we'll stay grounded in that discipline because of the hype. When the organization is moving so quickly and asking for visible action right now, when someone says, we need AI training, it can be very tempting to respond immediately with content because the topic feels urgent and everybody wants progress. We want to see that now, right? But urgency doesn't really remove the need for diagnosis, which is what we should be doing. In fact, it makes diagnosis more important.
Well, because the request for training may not actually describe the real problem, right?
Oh, yeah, music to my ears. We need AI training is often the opening statement, not the diagnosis. So maybe employees are using an unapproved tool. Maybe managers aren't clear. We've talked about this in prior podcasts, right? So maybe people understand the tool, but they're not really sure how to evaluate the quality of the output or when human judgment needs to take over. So there may be a learning component, but a course can't really solve every one of those problems.
And sometimes the most strategic thing L&D can say is, training is not the answer here.
Good for you, Dario. I love to hear you say that because, yes, that is a powerful contribution. A strategic learning leader is not trying to turn every organizational challenge into a learning intervention. We should not be doing that because it's not true. The goal is to help the organization solve the right problem. Sometimes we say there is a learning need here, but maybe training alone won't fix it. The organization may need clearer governance or better process or management communication or maybe better policies. That is not L&D stepping away from our work. It's us doing the work well.
Well, let's talk about how L&D gets close enough to the work to see that. Yeah. What should learning leaders actually do?
Well, the funny thing about that is it always begins with conversation, right? How many times have we had this that they need to go and talk to people, talk with business leaders about where AI is already affecting performance. Ask managers, what are you seeing? Talk to employees. What are you finding difficult with what you're doing? What challenges you? Let's learn where AI is creating value and where it's creating uncertainty and where existing processes may no longer fit the work that we're doing. That's dialogue and that's diagnosis. And this does not have to begin as a large formal initiative. It can start with a few thoughtful conversations with people that help L&D see what's really going on here.
But what if L&D has not been invited into the AI conversation yet?
Well, I don't think learning leaders need to wait for a formal invitation to begin exploring. There's nothing preventing them from talking with business leaders about how AI is affecting their work. There's nothing stopping them from asking governance or IT, HR, or legal or compliance, my wonderful posse of people for L&D, that questions are emerging. And, where is the human capability lens maybe that we're missing? Let's talk about that. That does not mean bypassing any of those things that are important. It means being proactive and curious. And as I like to say, someone has to start the conversation, so why not L&D?
And that feels like leadership without overreaching.
Yeah, exactly. It is, because learning and development doesn't need to enter the room pretending to have all the answers. That's not, take that pressure off your shoulders. We can enter with good questions. That's our job. What are you seeing in the business? Where is things already changing that you're starting to feel that pressure? What are employees asking you about? And where do you need help? So these are questions that you need to have a conversation with the business, with the employee, in the work world, everybody who's doing the day-to-day operations. And those questions help the organization slow down just enough to understand the need before rushing toward a solution.
And I mean, they also demonstrate the strategic value of L&D.
Yes, because L&D is not simply waiting to be handed a course request, or they should not be waiting to be handed a course request. It's helping the organization to find the problem. What performance consulting really looks like is this: we connect the business need, the work, the worker, and the workplace. And then we determine where learning can make a difference and where other parts of the system need attention. AI may make the environment feel like new, but this disciplined approach is not new for L&D. It's the practice that strong learning leaders already know how to do.
So AI is not asking L&D to abandon its fundamentals, right? It is asking L&D to use them under pressure.
Exactly. That's right. I mean, we've done this through the emergence of internet into the world. And essentially our practice hasn't changed. We may do it faster, different ways, but essentially our fundamentals are the same. So the technology may be moving quickly, but we still need to resist that urge to begin with, let me give you a course. We need to understand the performance challenge first. And we do not need to wait passively for someone else to invite us to come into the conversation. It's so easy for learning leaders to call up someone from ops and say, hey, how about lunch? Let's have a discussion. What's going on with you and A&I? It doesn't even have to be a formal conversation. It can be an informal one. And that's how L&D becomes a credible strategic partner in this moment in time.
Yeah. So as we get close to close here, what is one thing you want learning leaders to take away from this episode?
Well, I think AI is really pressure testing learning and development. It's a strategic performance function right now. But the answer is already in our practice. It's what we do every day. We're not being asked to do anything differently. We're asked to step up and bring that expertise to the table. So understand the business problem, study the work, listen to the people that are doing it. What are they saying? Diagnose before we design, and be willing to say when training is not the answer, or it's not the whole answer. You don't need a formal invitation to begin that exploration, and someone has to start the conversation. So why not L&D?
And that's a strong place to land.
Yeah.
In our next episode, we will build from that diagnosis and talk about what it really means to move from AI literacy to AI capability, and how L&D can help people apply AI responsibly in the flow of work. Susan, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Dario. I'm really excited about this particular topic, and L&D leaders should be too.
I'm sure they are. I know I am. Thank you all for listening. Until next time.